we have a segment on this show called Top 3, where we get our listeners to write into us at the Goods Pod with...
God damn it. I keep dropping change on the ground. I'm flush with cash right now.
That's a full quarter,
Dude,
bro.
Oh, damn. That's getting that.
Dude,
I've been
right
using
foot, right foot.
Right foot?
Scrooge McDuck over there.
Well, Bill watched me like scavenge for a penny earlier, and that landed in your bathroom.
Yeah, I just cleaned the floor in there, so...
Okay.
Scrounge away, you pauper.
I've been using cash more lately, and the amount of change that ends up in your pocket by the end of the day is alarming.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
running
You're
out of
using-
places to store it. I'm running out of jars.
Oh,
to
I
store
got
my
one of
change.
them.
Using cash more because the vaccines
Yeah.
inside debit cards.
Yeah, that's right.
the
That's right.
microchip.
They're trying to create a cashless society.
Don't.
It's like, where do you keep your wallet, bro?
My
It goes through your left ass cheek into your brain. Have you heard of this festival I'm going to this weekend?
I'm actually performing.
I'm not always Alex the gas station attendant. Sometimes I'm Alex the comic. Sometimes I'm Alex the romantic. Sometimes I'm Alex the sleeper.
But yeah, we get our listeners to write into us at the Goods Pod with their topics for top 3 lists, and then we populate those lists at Jess_W. Top 3 favorite sports scandals.
All right, show of hands. Who's into sports here?
I'm into
guys-
scandals.
You're into scandals.
Yeah,
okay,
you're not into
I had
sports
a
at
feeling
all.
that like
Yeah,
me and Rivers might be like the not know enough about
Well,
sports.
my thing, like, because I always say, like, I used to play bar trivia all the time in college, and I always had to bring my friends Maddie P and Orion, who were like sports nuts, and they were my ringers for those categories. But if the answer to the question is like Michael Jordan or Charles Barkley, or, like people that everyone's heard of, then I could probably know that. But as far as scandals go, that's my shit. So that's
Bill,
why
Bill, you're a Massachusetts boy, right?
I am.
Oh, yeah.
Do you are you a big a Bruins fan, or what is your team? Are you a big Massachusetts teams fan?
I mean, the teams I follow are Massachusetts teams, but I really only follow football. But I will be a fair weather fan when the teams get into the playoffs or whatever. But
You big Brady guy.
yeah. I mean, TB12.
No one can fault you for that.
Yeah.
hey, you're 80 for Brady.
Exactly. I was there opening night. Like my favorite actresses and my
I always read you for a Rito Moreno kind of guy.
Who isn't Arita Marino?
Oh yeah.
How you feeling about the Super Bowl this year?
I have all right. So going into this championship weekend that happened, I was like anybody but the Kansas City Chiefs because I fucking hate the Kansas
Why?
City Chiefs because
They're just the big market team right now, and all the State Farm commercials.
it's part of
and
it
shit
is
like that.
Patrick Mahomes is everywhere, but even worse. Patrick Mahomes' brother and his wife are the most insufferable.
See, this is the shit I am into.
Yeah.
Is the things happening around the sports I like.
Yeah, they are just terrible. Like, they're awful people. If I'm Patrick Mahomes, he's a great player. But I'd be like, you two need to fucking chill because you make me look so bad.
What have they been doing? I'm unaware.
So last time they went to the Super Bowl or maybe they won the championship game, like his wife was spraying champagne from the not the press
The
box,
sky
but like
box?
the sky box all over like the fans down below, and it's just like, so I'm straight edge. I've never drank. If some horse-faced fucker is spraying me with champagne, I'm calling up there and be like, "Who the fuck you think you are, you asshole?" And like think about like the recovering alcoholic that's like, "I'm so happy that my Kansas City Chiefs have made," and then that hits his lips, and he's like, "Oh, it's a sign from the heavens that I need to."
See, I can enjoy things without alcohol.
Yeah, I was about
then
to
it
say,
rains on you.
I could just enjoy the pure goodness that is sport without any sort of, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah.
as a recovered alcoholic, I gotta say that is the least way you would want to return to alcohol.
Yeah, like being
Champagne
spritzed with it.
Covered
Yeah.
in shitty
was gonna say,
smelling and shit.
Flicking Andre Brute off your North Face
Yeah.
jacket.
And
I'm
then
around
his
alcohol.
brother's always doing like TikTok dances
Oh,
on
yeah.
on the field too.
Oh,
He
God.
was being disrespectful.
Does his,
to,
does his brother play, or is his?
No, it's just a dork.
He's a dick.
Oh, so he's just a coattail rider.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And Patrick
see.
Mahomes, amazing player, whatever.
Seemingly good guy too.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy. But yeah, I thought the Bengals were. I like Joe Burrow. They call him Joe Cool, and he's cool. The dude's fucking cool. He's wearing an "I think you should leave" shirt in a interview. It's like,
Okay.
he likes good sketch comedy. So,
He likes funny shit. He's probably likes good music. If that was to be what you're to make a leap from there.
yeah. If he showed up wearing like a Pig Destroyer shirt and a thing, I'd be like, holy shit, he likes good grindcore. Like this guy's sick as hell. What the fuck?
I'm gonna have lunch with this guy.
Yeah, but and I used to live in San Francisco, so since the 49ers, I was like, all right, I'll root for the 49ers, and of course the Eagles win, and the whole city of Philadelphia is full of trash. We all know this.
No one tears down their own city like Philly.
Yeah,
I love it.
I kind of respect them for. I mean, the guy ate horse shit
Yeah.
the last time they won. That was incredible.
I was saying, so they played the Patriots in that Super Bowl, and I was saying, if the Patriots had won that Super Bowl, here's the most that would have happened. There would have been a sign on the highway that said, "Congrats, Patriots," and then. And that's it. That's all that would have happened. A highway sign that said "Congrats, Patriots." But the people in Philadelphia, they're eating shit off the ground.
Yes, literally.
And like diving in front of moving trains. It's like, all right, well, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the next day, the win did nothing for them personally, and they just have shit in their stomach.
Why does my insides feel like razors?
I mean, I still feel like a winner. It's just
And my other favorite thing in Philly is the municipal workers literally come with like giant paint rollers and grease the poles in downtown so people can't climb up to the top of the fucking light posts.
One of the funniest celebration videos I ever saw came from a Philly thing, and a guy climbs a pole, a traffic one, and starts going on the horizontal part of it.
Oh, yeah.
He's just hanging there. And then somebody just throws a empty Grey Goose bottle, like a big one, at him, and it's rotating like end over end like a tomahawk, and it just slams him in the head, and he just
drops?
Yeah, drops.
Oh my!
It's just like that's how you guys fucking celebrate. You guys
I'm rooting for the
are
Eagles.
awful.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Eagles against the Chiefs.
I'm telling you, I always am going to root for Philly just because of how trashy their wins are.
oh yeah. Do you go for any of the LA teams? No.
If all things are equal, it's just like, oh yeah, let's go for the LA teams. It's like,
Sure.
if
Yeah,
they're
why
not
not?
playing my New England Patriots,
Sure,
or
yeah.
whatever, then it's like, yeah, fine, LA, whatever city I'm living in. But here's the thing: whatever city I've moved to, championships come there.
That's true. Yeah, the
It is a
championships-
proven thing
Yeah.
that
They
Bill
follow
Conway
you.
goes, championships follow.
The Giants, when I lived in San Francisco, they won the title.
That's true. Yeah.
And then I moved to LA. The Rams win. When's the last time the Rams won? I'll tell you. It's been a while.
How
I
are
mean,
those Trailblazers doing though?
So let's see. Wait, who? Well, all right. The Seahawks won the Super Bowl.
Okay,
and they
that
are
counts.
Kind of.
That counts. Yeah, sure.
But yeah, Trailblazers not so much.
Okay, right on.
I'm not gonna say anything about the Trailblazers, but also Portland can suck it.
Rude to bring up the Blazers, River.
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Uh,
Don't disrespect Clyde the Glide. Okay.
but yeah, I'll run through mine real quick and then we'll go around. My number 3 is kind of a recent one. It's from October of last year, and that is the guys that got caught putting weights in their fish during a fishing tournament.
Oh, I like this.
Okay.
That's savvy. Like throw a couple pennies in there.
Oh, it's
Also
so
exploring
much-
the boundaries of sport
what,
and hobby.
what do they call it when you're fishing professionally? They call it sport fishing. So-
Sport fishing, huh? Hey. yeah.
Yes, and the good Bass Pro Shop in Islamorada, Florida, is called Worldwide Sportsman. So
It's a thing.
it's a thing. It's
Oh, I
sport
believe
fishing.
it, yeah.
There's a sport fishing video game on Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I saw.
Oh yeah.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
hey, look. I just think like you need to have like the body of like the best bowler ever.
Yeah.
You have to have a Bill Dance body to fish.
Oh, Bill Dance, my favorite athlete of all time.
Oh yeah,
But no, these two guys.
leisure athlete.
This went down in Ohio in October, and everyone is catching fish that are like around 7 to 9 pounds. And then these two guys pull up, and the prize money, it was for $29,000 was the prize for the best
bad.
fish. And everyone had been catching fish under 10 pounds. These motherfuckers roll up with a 33-pound fish.
Guys, 16 pounds.
Well, they went so fucking far with this, and the best part about this particular scandal is that the moment that everyone found out is on video.
Because somebody walked by with a magnet and the fish got like,
Yeah, well, so what it was filled with, they filled it with the lead weights, like sinkers that you use to, weigh your line down, and weirdly, fish fillets. So I think they
if
just
you did a DNA test. It's all fish in there.
yeah, they like packed the ass of this fish with about 20 pounds of lead weights, and then they shoved another couple of pounds of fish on top of it and thought no one would notice.
No sportsmanship. See?
Yeah. And they're
That's not sport.
They're actually, I said bass. They're fishing for walleye, and this is the moment, and it's fucking glorious. I'll put this up on our Twitter so people can see it, but even just hearing it is fantastic. So you see the guy here, he's cutting open the stomach because someone has challenged this. They're like, that's insane. Why does this fish weigh so much more than every other fish?
3 times the amount of the next biggest fish.
Yeah. And so they cut open the stomach, and this is how it goes down.
We got weights and fish. There we go.
He's kicking him out like an umpire in a baseball game. You're a weasel.
God damn it! That's my favorite. Some guy just
I was like, that is the most of a workout any of those guys got. Through the whole process of catching the fish.
It's the closest of real life ever of a South Park town hall meeting of people going rabble, rabble, rabble. Like it sounds like rabble, rabble. But I love that. And but what's fucked up is that these guys got charged with a felony.
No.
For doing this.
Come on, who are they hurting?
Charge?
Yeah. So fishermen Jacob Runyon and Chase Comiskey, accused of packing weights into a fish in an attempt to win nearly $30,000, pled not guilty Wednesday. They were recently indicted after an inspection of the fish.
Well, you really got to watch which state you're in. Get a felony charge for weighing your fish.
Hey, don't fuck around with the walleye fishermen in Ohio, buddy. Yeah, and my favorite little detail is that apparently they had a previous winning called into question because they failed a polygraph test. And according to this NPR article, polygraph tests are very common in the professional fishing industry. So you can't lie about like the one that got away because you're literally
many have been used in divorce proceedings.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
So these guys are all liars and thieves.
Yeah, so the charges are 5th degree
Is there
felonies.
no honor on the
Spend
lake.
too much too much time on a boat, you turn into a pirate.
The charges are 5th degree felonies, meaning they could each bring a punishment of up to 12 months in prison and $2,500 in fines. And they also have a misdemeanor count of unlawful ownership of wild animals, which is a charge related to stuffing the fish full of fillets.
Imagine explaining to the other people in prison.
Hey, new fish, what are you in for? Well,
Funny you told me that.
You're not going to believe this.
How about you? Murder.
Yeah. So these guys are getting charged with felonies, and Joe Manchin's daughter is still not charged for upping the price of EpiPens. So anyway, America's cool. My number 2, and this is just a badass one, Muhammad Ali refusing to go to Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
Which people think of now. They're like, what a fucking awesome thing he did. At the time, he was Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Every fucking white person in America was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he was the heavyweight champ at the time. You know,
Yeah.
and he was stripped of the title to do this. And I mean, you go to the top of the mountain. You know, you're there.
yeah. Right.
You're the king. You're the baddest man on the planet. And they say you got to do this, and they wouldn't have made him do anything. You know, he would have been like Elvis over there. You know, just standing around being a figurehead. You know, like he's not going to see battle. And he says, no, fuck that.
Why should me and other so-called Negroes go 10,000 miles away from home here in America to drop bombs and bullets on other innocent brown people who's never bothered us? And I will say directly, no, I will not go 10,000 miles to help or kill innocent people.
I mean, I have Muhammad Ali tattooed on my arm for that reason. Conviction, baby.
That's sick.
Hell yeah. And also, I found this out when I was reading about this. In 1971, his fight of the century with Joe Frazier, which is his comeback fight, that was used by the activist group Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI to pull off a burglary at an FBI office in Pennsylvania. So they figured everyone in this office is going to be watching this fight. And so they snuck in. And that is why we know about COINTELPRO. Yeah. So
how's that not a movie?
I know. It's like an amazing heist, you know? And also Muhammad Ali, definitely a target of COINTELPRO. Like they were always trying to find dirt on that guy. So anyway, Muhammad Ali refusing to go to Vietnam. And then my number 1, it's not really a scandal. It's just an ongoing scandal that is the center fielder formerly of the Mets and the Phillies, Lenny Dykstra. Everything he does is fucking crazy. people always say, like, when they talk about Kenny Powers, they're like, oh, he's based on John Rocker. And I'm like, that aspect of him saying fucked up things about the town that he's playing in is based on John Rocker. The real Kenny Powers is fucking Lenny Dykstra, 100%. He's got the steroids. He's got the fraud. He had a magazine that was specifically for private jet millionaires called Players Club.
I subscribe to that. Yeah, lots of hardcore pornography in that.
Drunk driving car crash, indecent exposure, sexual assault allegations, a federal bankruptcy case, Grand Theft Auto, and he was arrested in 2018 on charges that he threatened to kill an Uber driver while in possession of cocaine and ecstasy. So,
well, the Uber driver was in possession of it? Then yes, I support it. I mean, it's a criminal.
That guy's driving around on the influence.
but yeah, so that's my top 3. Fish Guys, Muhammad Ali, and Lenny Dykstra.
It's a good top 3.
What do you got, Bill?
All right, so top 1 for me is being from Massachusetts. It's the Rosie Ruiz Boston Marathon scandal, where she entered the race, took a taxi basically to the finish.
Love it.
Got out 3 blocks ahead and finished not sweaty with a record time that's never been beaten, and nobody had seen her before. And they're like, "What the fuck?" And then she fought it and was like, "I ran that, like I did." Like she never like backed down. And then I think she tried to run it again, and but I don't know.
Failed miserably.
Yeah, I don't know.
When was this?
The late 70s, early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it was before everybody had cell phones. But
Right.
yeah, she started the thing.
I'm going to do that one day.
Yeah.
That's
Lying
amazing.
Used to be so easy.
Yeah.
You see Unsolved Mysteries episodes where people just show up in a new town. They're like, I have amnesia. I don't know my name. Like, okay, you're Fred now. Come work in my mechanic shop.
Yeah, Fred seems to have a dark past.
Best not to question it.
But yeah, Rosie Ruiz, that's number 1 for me because I just think it's unhinged behavior.
Oh, yeah.
To just be like, not just like, let me finish, like come in 76th place out of like the hundreds of people that do it. And it's just like, hey, I ran the marathon. You came in first. You were celebrated. Like
You beat a world record or something.
and then people had to be like, we never saw her at these checkpoints in, Hopkinton or anything like that.
She never got a water,
right,
a Gatorade, none of that
none
shit.
of the people ever saw her. So.
I mean, the aha moment of being like, oh, it's so obvious. I'll take a cab to the finish line.
There are no rules in the rule book that says you can't take a cab 24 of the 26.2 miles.
But then also the doubling down of like, no, I did it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Number 2 for me is Michael Jordan's retirement. His retirement.
Oh, yeah.
Because the conspiracy is that he was suspended from the league for all of his gambling debts because he was a degenerate gambler.
Right.
And that that's what got his father killed, which I do not think is true. I don't think his father was killed, but
it's funny though.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Did they
I love murder on the side of the road when you're just trying to sleep it off.
They kind of bring that up in The Last Dance a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I think Michael Jordan at the peak of his powers. He's winning championships, and all of a sudden, I'm going to go play AAA baseball
In Birmingham.
In Birmingham, baby. Yeah.
Did you ever get to go to a game?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the only Barons game I've ever seen is when Michael Jordan was playing.
You got to see Michael Jordan in his prime playing baseball.
As a Barons. Exactly. The only time I've ever seen Michael Jordan was playing fucking right field for the Birmingham Barons.
That's incredible.
And finally, for me, and being a Massachusetts guy, Deflategate, the Tom Brady.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So here's what I liked about Deflategate is that
Of course you did, you dirty
Yes,
cheater. You fucking cheating ass motherfuckers.
I love the logic of Deflategate. Is like, all right, the Indianapolis Colts are winning this game at the time, and the wide receiver catches the ball and it's like, this is a little soft, and they bring it into the locker room. They're like, hey, Tom Brady's cheating. And the Patriots are losing at this point. And so then they replace all the balls because they're like, all right, what happened? Tom Brady comes out like a house on fire and puts up like 30 points on him, just like, oh, thanks, guys, for pumping up the balls for me. Those things were fucked up earlier. And now I'm going to... And the Patriots end up destroying them. And then there's an investigation into it, of course. And Roger Goodell, the commissioner, says, hey, Brady, we need to look at your phones to see if you're like communicating with everybody. This is where Tom Brady, for all his faults, he did not give up his phone. He was like, fuck you. That is an overreach. You cannot do this.
Yeah.
Basically saved any NFL player for the rest of history, setting the precedent, like, don't give him your shit. You know?
Yeah,
Like, because then the NFL would have been like, oh, we're going to investigating this. Like, Kaepernick would have had to give up his phone for whatever, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
have you been discussing taking a knee or whatever? But
Right.
and Tom Brady didn't give it up. And nobody really talks about that aspect of it because everybody hates Tom Brady because he won so many championships. And he doesn't need any praise or whatever. But I just think that, I mean, it was such crap. You know, it's like, wait, he's cheating with deflated ball. Now, the Spygate thing, that was real. They were cheating their asses off with that shit. You know? Like, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby.
Right. but
Deflategate was a non-thing. you know?
Yeah, but that's the one that gets the press because it's much easier to understand slightly deflated balls than it is to understand the whole everything that went into Bill Belichick fucking creeping around in a trench coat, looking at other teams' fucking playbooks
He's
and
got
shit.
a camera in a briefcase, and he's just like pointing it like this.
Dressed like spy versus spy.
But yeah, and I mean, there was like multiple things that were just like, yeah, it's way harder to throw a ball like this. He was just making it. This is not cheating. If maybe he's a maniacal idiot that
Right, yeah.
right. That thinks this was
If it's
better.
cheating, it's the dumbest way to do it.
Right.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
There's a reason they looked into it.
Yeah.
What? Wait,
But-
Sam, what is your team?
I like the Dallas Cowboys. I grew up in Texas, and they're losers. I'm not going to try to defend them as a good team.
well, you're a 90s kid, though, so growing up, they were like
Yeah.
pretty hot shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
You know, Jerry Jones salting his chicken fillets is always a
Yeah.
good thing. I mean, that dude dumps so much salt. Like, he's mummifying himself with what he eats.
He has access to the finest plastic surgeons in the country. He uses that frequently. But yeah, I don't know. It makes it easier to throw a ball in the cold that's deflated, or easier to catch. And that's the thing about the Patriots. That's the fucking thing. You don't know if they've done this before.
Yeah.
And that's more of the thing.
So you're gonna. Here's the other. My one retort. It's like the Patriots got caught. You know, like every team is cheating. You know, like in some way, like the Miami Dolphins. The away team stays on the side of the field that bright sunshine from Florida is playing, so everybody there's in 110-degree weather, while the Dolphins are in the shade. You know, it's like that's not cheating, but that's fucked up. You
Right,
know?
right.
Like,
Hey, blame nature on that one.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or
I'm
just
blaming
how they-
Gloria Estefan for how she designed that.
Yeah. No one had any control over how the stadium would be built.
Yeah.
There was never a discussion.
And nobody knows how the sun's gonna shine.
Yeah,
day
you
to
don't
day.
know.
Right.
The sun might go north to south one day. You don't ever know.
Who can tell these things?
Yeah.
But yeah, Patriots are dirty, rotten cheaters. I'll say, and that's fine. But every football team is a dirty, rotten cheater. Like the Seattle Seahawks, it was like hold on every play because they can't call it on every play, so they held on every play. You know, it's like
Yeah. Well,
that's just how you're coached up, and it's just a slight advantage.
It's like the same thing you said though. Like, hey, I know he doesn't need any praise, but it's like the Cowboys in the '90s or like the Yankees for a time. So he's just the most like winningest quarterback of all time, but people are finding a reason to hate him.
Yeah, it's
but
like same with Patrick Mahomes now. He's
Yeah.
It's like I need a reason to dislike him, and it's his stupid wife and brother. You know?
it says more about all of our collective mental health.
What you got, Carter?
Well, I like I said, I'm not extremely knowledgeable on the subject of sports, but I did dredge up some things.
Okay.
I don't know if this qualifies as a scandal, but the Steve Bartman incident.
That was on my list.
For
that's
the
a
Chicago
scandal.
Cubs.
Poor motherfucker.
Yeah, dude,
Changed his name.
changed his had to move out of Chicago. Like me and Carly went to a Cubs game the
Yeah.
last time we were there at Wrigley Field. It's nice they like redid Wrigley Field and everything. But
Yeah.
And you wore your Cubs jersey that said Bartman on the back.
yeah, exactly. I wore my Bartman hat. I have a Bartman from The Simpsons shirt that I was wearing. But yeah, like she was telling me about that story, and obviously, it was as authentic a Cubs game as you could get because they lost, and but they fucking she was talking about the Steve Bartman story, and guy was just happened to be there. I mean, like, but it was a really like I think the Cubs were leading like 3-0 in the series, like the playoffs, and it was like very decisive.
Oh yeah,
and he was just happened to be there and caught this fly ball that could have
Wasn't
easily.
the only one reaching out either.
No, look, here's a picture of it right here. There's like at least like 6 people, like reaching
it's a
out
fly
for it.
ball. That's what you do.
Lifelong fan Steve Bartman reached for and deflected a potentially playable foul ball in the 2003 National League Championship Series at Wrigley Field. The Cubs were just 5 outs from getting to the World Series, but collapsed. Bartman vilified.
he was so shamed in Chicago and Wrigleyville that he had to change his name and move, and he still hasn't moved back. I think it's like something like the mayor or something like pardoned him, like he did anything wrong.
That'll do it.
They have to,
They
have to make that like 30 for 30 about him before people started feeling bad about it.
Yeah. And I was just like, this is so like the sports forever. I get it. Like getting like wrapped up in it is very fun. But it's just like, who cares much? I mean, also when it's customary for the Chicago Cubs to lose, it's like you guys have another team. Like you have the White Sox.
There are people still to this day in Auburn, Alabama that just curse the name of Eric Ramsey, an obscure player from the early 90s who basically got Auburn disqualified from a bunch of bowl games back in like 1992 because they were paying the players. And you're like, every college team's paying the players. He is a fucking snitch, but still.
By that degree, you know, it's you. Maybe I'll eat my own words here because it's true. As an Alabama fan, the words Ryan Flugner hold a certain candor in history because it was Sean Alexander's last game and he missed a gimme field goal. And pulling a Flugner became a thing for a few years. I hope I didn't revive it now for our podcast listeners.
I mean, they're raging about it.
They're raging. Leave this man alone. He's done. He's led a good life, I guess. All right. So that one, I'd say number 2. Speaking of like hero worship of or the pressure that sports figures have to be like the whole, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Royden scandal.
Sure.
I remember that during when I was a kid. And I don't know. I mean, I just collected baseball cards in a desperate effort to get into baseball. And I remember, I liked those cards, and then I remember thinking, they're cheating. And then they look like professional wrestlers, and wondering if I cared that much that they were cheating.
Well, Sammy Sosa's body never really changed over his career.
No, absolutely not.
Not came in as a juiced guy.
I was going to say, and now he's white.
Yeah, he's bleached his skin thoroughly.
That's right.
White.
That's right.
I am.
The Barry Bonds transformation is he was so skinny.
He's got the Frankenstein head and everything.
Wasn't Jose Canseco juicing
Oh
too?
my
No,
god, he is
clean.
his entire blood is HGH. He doesn't have blood anymore, just fucking steroids.
Oh yeah, he could lift a car with one hand. And then does OJ count?
Hell yeah. That's the biggest one of all time.
I mean, I was like, that was like the first thing, that was like the first crime I remember hearing about as a kid.
I have residual memories of hearing the words the Menendez brothers, but I didn't know what it was. I just heard it all the time. OJ was the first one where I was like, I was in
I mean, it was a part of the tour we would give, for God's sake.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Oh, I still run people by Rockingham all the time.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know, just for the amount of... I don't know, I guess personally...
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that, like, the car chase thing.
Fuck yeah.
And all that shit when I was growing up.
Yeah,
so,
we stopped my 4th grade class to watch The Verdict.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say to watch the car chase. That's unhinged. But my memory is like faulty on the car chase. In my mind, like OJ was driving, but he wasn't. He was in the back.
He was in the back.
A gun to somebody or something.
To his own head.
Yeah,
to his own head, and they were like kind of going the speed limit, like it was slow. Like
it wasn't a high.
Who was driving?
Al Cowlings, who most people don't know. There's 2 Broncos. There's the one with the blood all over it, which was in evidence at that point. The Bronco that you see driving is not OJ's, it's Al Cowlings, who was such a fucking, mark for OJ. He bought his own Bronco identical to OJ's. Oh my God. There's 2 Broncos. There was
a, I was reading this book about Don Simpson, who's the producer of the Top Gun, who's a renowned piece of shit.
Maniac.
Yeah, he's a cocaine vacuum in the 80s.
Cocaine monster.
But it goes into like some of his coke dealers in it, and they talk about selling. This guy was selling coke to OJ and Kato Kalin, and he said that they were like going out on a McDonald's run, and it was like the night before they planned to do the murder or whatever, and he like watched. Allegedly, but they watched OJ and Kato do coke in this guy's car. So I was like, there's a sports scandal, I guess.
Yeah, murder, quite scandalous. Mm-hmm. Sam, what do you got?
Well, I think, and this one, I don't know why it doesn't get talked about more. They act like they fixed it, but the NBA ref scandal.
Oh yeah,
where they got caught betting on games they were refereeing.
Yep.
Making their own little bets. Like they would bet on like the first person to call a penalty in the game owes the other person like $100. So they would go through a game at the beginning and just not call fouls because they didn't want to lose a bet they made with the other referees and shit. They'd make games like that for themselves, and they would just rig games. They did. They can call a foul anytime they want on any play, basically.
Yeah,
that sort of contact happens on every play. Right. Just it's it proved beyond a shadow of doubt that sports are rigged.
Yeah,
absolutely,
totally.
And all it takes is one or two guys to really do it.
Yeah.
There was actually, on that there was a play in the championship game this weekend that the Chiefs. 3rd and 10, they blow it, and they're like, "Oh, that play was blown dead," and nobody heard a whistle. And then they show a replay, and it's like, "There's a ref back here. It looks like he's blowing it dead." And it's like nobody heard a whistle, and they're like, "Oh, the crowd noise is so loud." It's like the Chiefs were on offense. It was like a church in there. It wasn't the Bengals on offense. So it is like,
and they let them do it again.
Right? They gave them a do-over.
Yeah, that was one of the worst officiated games I've seen recently on both sides. They're both getting penalties that were like, "Wait, what the fuck is happening right now?"
But refs, oh boy, don't even get me started on
when
refs.
the NFL rigging scandal comes out. Well, that's the thing. All these companies are going to start getting involved in sports scandals because they're all getting sponsored by DraftKings, which is a sports gambling website, and they're being like, "Hey, you should gamble on these games that we're rigging."
How do you feel about athletes betting on themselves, like a Pete Rose situation?
That's fine.
Yeah. I feel like that was completely over the top, like him being kept out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on himself. It's like
that's the thing. He could be lying.
Well,
he's in the Hall of Fame, though. He's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, I see.
The most important.
Because he would come in and get pile driven by Kane every once in a while.
Yeah.
Him and Kane had a long-running feud.
Well, it's like with boxing, I get it. You could throw a boxing match, but it's like with baseball, it's like, what do you... Like drop the bat or something? I don't know.
And there's a recent thing with the UFC. One of the coaches...
James Krause,
stupidly went on television, went on the Ariel Helwani show... and started talking about how he gambles on MMA fights. And he's a big coach in the MMA community.
Yeah.
So he definitely has insider knowledge on fighters and all this shit. Yeah. And he said he has a Discord he shares the information with. And he said he makes more money gambling than he does from coaching. So
he brags about this.
And recently he had a fighter that fought with a bum knee, legitimately shouldn't have fought, should have pulled out of the fight.
The fight ended very quickly because of his pre-existing injury.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that guy got cut immediately, and James Krause is basically not allowed in Las Vegas anymore.
And they knew it was because the gambling line moved in a huge way all of a sudden. I think once James Krause knew he was going to lose for sure, told everybody in the Discord and whatever online, hey, here's a safe bet. And so, now they're being looked into. And DraftKings is a big sponsor. They tell people, oh, you should bet on this line and that line and shit like that. It's such an obvious fucking scam, but people are going for it.
Well, DraftKings is building college facilities and shit like that now. It's fucking insane.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, sure. That shouldn't be on the state to do. Let's get a gambling website that definitely doesn't have ulterior motives for doing this.
Yeah, I mean, that shit's fucking insane.
What else you got?
I mean, Sammy Sosa corked bat was a pretty crazy one.
Yeah.
One of the big home run hitters of all the time caught using a corked bat, which
does it help that much with the corked bat?
Yeah, how do they do it? Do they core it out and then
stick
something in there and
Fill
then
it
cap
up.
it?
That's at least what it looked like in cartoons. I just thought it was like, oh, it makes the noise louder.
Yeah.
That's just, crazy to see one of the legendary players get caught cheating. It's one thing if it's just some random guy, but it's like that guy was known for hitting home runs, and that kind of ruined his whole reputation.
Yeah, it's like those guys that got caught with the weights and the fish. It's just disappointing,
It is.
to see a grand champion of this manner.
I love the pitchers that are always caught cheating because they're touching the back of their hat where they have some resin on.
The pine tar. Yeah.
And it's just what are you doing?
Yeah.
And that scandal came out, and then they were also just they all shrugged their shoulders like, everyone does it. You know, it's just like one of those things.
Fine.
It's kind of like a Lance Armstrong thing.
Exactly,
like he gets caught, and then like everyone who did the Tour de France is juicing, and like
well, it's like the Bill Burr thing. You're like, our juiced up guy beat your juiced up guy. Like, this is an even fight. Fuck you. Like,
I think also another one is the fall of grace that happened with Lance Armstrong and Tiger Woods being like Mr. America, eat your fucking vegetables
around the same time too.
And then came out that they were one cheating, two other one was just like a drug addict cheating on his wife all the time.
Only 12 mistresses. Who among us has it?
Right.
Only some of them were porn stars.
Although still has a firm commitment to drunk driving, which I appreciate. He drove right off a cliff.
Much respect.
Yeah, much respect.
Sport takes commitment.
He's a great golfer, but he's an amazing drunk driver.
As a champion, do you take an Uber home? No.
No, you drive. You get full of Grey Goose and drive yourself.
Pop some pills. Have your wife run out and smash your fucking window at the golf club.
Yeah,
every single one of us on this podcast lives that lifestyle and can agree with it.
Absolutely. My favorite thing, he did learn one thing, Tiger Woods, which was he got his own car smashed the first time. The second time, it was a loaner from the club when he drove off the cliff. And,
really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. It's
well, it's if it's a loner.
Live and learn.
Fill the gas tank up before you leave it back. You're good.
Hey, does he go up to the guy that runs it back? Yo, I'm sauced, man. I'm not driving my own car back. Like, give me the Range Rover.
I need something with 4-wheel drive. I need all-terrain vehicle here.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that 3?
That's
you could
3.
also say the collusion of NBA players to start forming the powerhouse super teams, which was illegal, and then kind of just looked the other way after LeBron James and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade did it.
Was the NBA's viewership down at that time, and they were just like, "Fuck it, whatever, do anything you want. Let's institute a 5-point ball too."
I don't know what was. I think they were doing well, but it was just LeBron wanted to win that championship that he needed to win to be the marketing genius brand he is today.
Right.
And then it just led to other teams doing the same thing. And now you just got the superstar teams, and then the teams that can't possibly compete with them ever because they can't sign enough big players. So that was the thing. I don't know.
Well, that's
sports are cool. I'm wearing a Kings jersey right now.
Yeah.
It's a pretty slick jersey, I gotta say.
Oh, well, shout out to @Jess_W. That was a mighty fine top 3. If you've got a top 3 that you would like to hear us opine upon, please tweet at us @TheGoodsPod.